Hey guys, welcome back. Origami here, bringing you another one of our live deck matchups, tabletop matchups, using two of my favorite decks that come out of this set. I'm actually really excited about this one. To the left, you have me, Origami, as always. I'm going to be playing Gardevoir Sylveon Tag Team GX today. Just straight Gardevoir Sylveon, with some things here and there, right? And this is a deck that I think is going to be really cool. I think it's pretty skill focused. And I'm really excited to showcase it today. And to the right, you have my buddy Tony, one of my the self-proclaimed #1 Orabomb fan, as he always says, playing Blacephalon, baby Blacephalon. These are two decks that people were really excited to see, so I can't wait to showcase them for you guys. Before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like. Check out the sponsors at Guardian Gaming as always. And as well as the Patreon. Answer the common question of the day being, what's the deck you're most hyped to play? And maybe I've repeated some of these questions, but remember, any common question of the day that you ask between like the beginning, April 1st, of my Unbroken Bonds content till the end of these content, you'll have a chance to win some Unbroken Bonds codes online. So answer the common question of the day for all those videos. The more you comment, the more you like, the higher a chance you have of winning. So that's pretty exciting, right? And let me know what deck you're most excited about playing. And yeah, let's just go over it. Now I'm playing a Salazzle engine with this one. So you have two different Salazzles here. Not Salazzle. What's the baby Salazzle called? I have right here, so it's all good. Salandit, that's right. I always forget, man. Double Salandit. Now Salandit is like your draw engine in this deck, since the draw support you're using the most when playing this deck is going to be Welder. You're gonna be you don't have to use Welder every turn, but you're gonna be accelerating a lot of baby Blacephalons here. So let's go over what baby Blacephalon does. Now Blacephalon is 120 HP Ultra Beast Pokemon, something to keep in mind because you still have access to B-String, with 2 attacks. Brazier, 10 damage. Flip over your face down prize card. If this card is a fire energy, its attack does 50 more damage. So it's actually really interesting. If you combine that with the Blacephalon GX's ability is to flip over to discard a prize card. If that prize card is a fire energy, you may attach it. So you actually know which card is and isn't going to be a fire energy if you use its attack. Not to mention, they stay flipped over the rest of the game as well. So it's overall just pretty handy. And then Fireball Circus, the bread and butter of this deck. 50 damage, discard any number of fire energy cards from your hand. This attack does 50 more damage for each card discarded in this way. So the whole deck is using cards like Fire Crystal, which gets you 3 fire energies from your discard pile into your hand, combined with Welder, Fiery Flint, things like that to get you a bunch of fire energies in your hand while also setting up your Blacephalons on the board. So that's the game plan with this deck. Fairly simple. You have Salazzle that can Salazzle's ability is once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand if you do draw 3 cards. Salazzle also helps you cover, because it's something to keep in mind. And I know that right now Gardevoir doesn't have anything in the deck currently, but Salazzle also gives you the ability to cover for the Vileplume matchup, because you do hit for 60 damage for Salazzle. I don't actually remember how much HP Vileplume has. But she's gonna retreat here, and actually, he's not gonna retreat yet because you realize he can't attack this turn. He just, some of these turns take very long, so you don't remember exactly how long you're taking. But Gardevoir here is very simple. Set up Gardevoir and go from there. It's actually fairly simple how this deck works, because the first attack is, first of all, you're a 260 HP Tag Team GX Pokemon. With the attack Fairy Song, which is you search your deck for the 2 fairy energies and attach them to your bench in any way you like. So it has to be to your bench, not to your active. Then you have Kaleido Storm, which is 150 damage, and you can choose any number of energy attached to your Pokemon and play and re-range them in any way you like. And a lot of the time, you're going to be putting a bunch of energies onto your Gardevoir Sylveon, the one that's going to be attacking next turn, because the GX attack does 200 damage. And if you have 3 extra fairy energies attached to this Pokemon, you may discard your opponent's entire your opponent has to shuffle their entire hand back into their deck. So what you're usually going to be doing with this card is like Guzming up their draw support Pokemon if they have one, taking a knockout with Miracle Magical GX, while also getting rid of their entire hand, and just pretty much saying that, hey, you don't have any cards in your hand, we're just going to make this as difficult for you as possible. Now, this deck's also playing Fairy Charms and Rimbombis. Rimbombi, as we talked about in the Whimsicott video, which, by the way, I do have to talk about something while we're here, but in the Whimsicott video, I'm getting a phone call. Rimbombi prevents you from being able to be Guzma, essentially. No supporters will work on your fairy Pokemon on your bench as long as it's sitting on your bench. So here you go, using Welder to attach those 2 energies, and then he's going to draw 3. He almost forgot, but it's fine. Excuse me. I forgot what all... Oh, yeah. Okay, so what I was going to say is... So, I wasn't supposed to be uploading Whimsicott and then directly uploading Gardevoir afterwards. Excuse me, guys. I want to give you guys a fairy break, but unfortunately, the matchup I was going to record between this one and the Whimsicott video was actually going to be Rhyperior Mill, using the new Giovanni scheme and Rhyperiors and stuff like that, versus the brand new Vikavolt, which I think Vikavolt's super cool and very strong. But one of my games got corrupted, and this I recorded forever ago. I'm not rebuilding this deck because I already gave back the decks that I was using to record. Gave back the cards I was using to record these decks because I don't actually own a majority. I don't actually own a lot of Pokemon cards. I sold most of them. I just borrowed them from my friends now, but I already gave them back. I don't want to rebuild the decks. It's just too much work. So. The one game that I lost was the game that one of the decks won, and the only times one of the decks won. So like I was gonna upload the deck, but I did realize that I didn't want to showcase, I didn't want to profile it when one of the decks that won lost. That it would showcase one of the decks losing both games, which is not great. You know what I mean? Like it kind of gives the deck a bad view, even though I think the deck is still kind of cool. So I don't know, if you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments down below as well, because I can still showcase it for sure. I just keep in mind that it'll only be 2 games instead of 3, so the videos will be shorter, and then the deck profiles will be here. But here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a massive 300 damage from this Blacephalon, which is kind of crazy. So we're just gonna go ahead and attach here and just start attacking. Now this deck does play other ways to attach energies. Ooh, this is a pretty good stadium to have here as well. We're also playing unmanned. I love how like the Ribombee is down but not evolved. No, hold on, never mind. Anyways, we have Ribombee down now, so no more Guzma shenanigans, I guess. So he's gonna need a lot of work. He needs a manual attachment, 6 energies in hand again, as well as Welder to attach 2 energy cards here to take a knockout. Of course, he does have Beast Energy. I told him he can't use Welder unless he actually attaches an energy, so he can't just use Welder because he wants to, right? He has to, because you have to attach an energy then draw. So that's how Welder works. I did see he has a Beast Energy in hand, but because he only attached 1 energy instead of 2, he won't actually be able to attack this turn. He can still use that first attack. 10 damage is all you need to put me from a 6 energy range to a 5 energy range. Attaching a Beast Energy to the bench isn't bad either. But he still doesn't have a Salazzle out, so as long as he doesn't have Salazzle out, we should be okay. I'm just moving things to make sure there's no glare. Even though there's no glare when I'm recording in my house, I would be able to record in my house more often, but then my father's coming home has been home for his business trip the past few days, and I haven't been able to record at home because somebody's always home now whenever he's around, so. But both of these decks are fairly straightforward. My goal is just to take knockouts with Gardevoir Sylveon, and then eventually put myself at a 6 prize lead. So I have a little bit of time here. So next turn, what I can do is manually attach and Mina. So I'm going to hold on to my hand because I believe I have a Mina in hand. And then if I can manually attach Mina as well as Guzma up a Pokemon that can potentially, if he does get Salazzle up, I can potentially Guzma up the Salazzle to take a knockout on it so he doesn't have as much draw support. Can really take advantage. Now Beast Ring is live now, which is unfortunate because now he has the potential of taking a huge knockout. And if he does take a huge knockout this turn, we're just kind of done. But Beast Energy does mean he only needs 5 energies now, so he needs to find a Fiery Flint, a manual attachment Fiery Flint, maybe a Fire Crystal as well, maybe 2 Fire Crystals. He has ways to win, of course. This deck is not playing greens. You could play green. I just like Salazzle. I like the option of having Salazzle, so I'm not playing green. But let's see how what my opponent does here. The deck was Salazzle too, so I figured this would be the best deck to showcase it against. He also has to attach 4 energies instead of just 3, something I just realized, because we have the stadium up. So he could try to bump the stadium. That's definitely an option he has. Looks like he failed the Pokegear, which sucks. I don't think he could have grabbed... yeah, he can grab Guzma, but he can't use it. He's just going to grab it for the sake of getting out of his deck. Ribombee is just really, really strong in these fairy decks, I think. I feel like it should be abused more often, because a lot of time people get around these things with Guzma. I guess if you play only tag team Pokemon, it's not a huge deal. But I don't know, maybe it is. I just like the ability of being able to retreat and stay safe on the bench, waiting for Acerola plays or Max Potion plays when the time comes. So he gets those into his hand. Does he have a Welder? He does have a Welder. So now he has to somehow get... oh, he just wins the game. Never mind. He's not even going to draw. He's not even going to draw. He had 2 Fire Crystals in hand, and that gets him 6 energies, enough to take a knockout even without the Beast energy. So game one, complete wash. My opponent really got a good setup there. Even though he never found a Salazzle. Blacephalon just taking lives. Perfect versus these tag team GX decks. But Gardevoir and Sylveon's not done. I will tell you, these next two games really do showcase how strong Gardevoir and Sylveon can really be. This deck is absolutely insane. And although the damage output isn't as great as like other tag team cards are, being able to 2-hit KO while also having these really cool like fairy charms, as well as having these really strong GX, like probably the best GX attack in the game. I can't think of a GX attack really better. Like even like Pikarom can take like 2 knockouts at once, whatever. But like this card can completely ruin the game for your opponent. So gonna go ahead and do this. So I believe this Cutiefly is the wrong Cutiefly, and I think I grabbed the wrong ones by accident. But I was supposed to grab the 30 HP ones that have free retreat because I value free retreat a little bit more than the other Cutiefly that's 40 HP. So I believe this one has the 40 HP, but it's supposed to be the 30 HP. And you see me, and if you don't see me, I can't tell by artwork, but if you see me change them mid game, that's why. But my opponent has a Salazzle lead. Once again, not the best lead here, but still not bad. Fiery, Flint. By the way, that card got super expensive. I wish I bought these cards earlier because I would have loved to play Baby Blacephalon, but at the same time, I'm not like Baby Blacephalon is strong, but I'm not super interested in playing it, you know what I mean? So, whatever. To me, it's like whatever. I still rather play Blacephalon GX, which this deck does play a one of because the GX attack is just good. Being able to discard and take a prize as like a finisher is always a good card to use. And that's just say he's just gonna pass his turn. 4 energies in hand. Maybe I can judge my opponent. I doubt it. Maybe. Excuse me. Another card this deck plays is because you're mainly attacking with like tag teams, and since you're not ever being Guzma'd for the most part, as long as you can set up properly, you have access to things like Xerneas Prism that can consistently take knockouts without having to worry about worrying about your prize exchange. One card that I do really like in this deck that I'm currently not playing, but you could definitely try if you need to, is Mismagius. I know a lot of people are saying Mismagius is good in these tag team decks that play specifically just the tag teams. Maybe cut the Ribombee line for a Mismagius line, being able to draw while also using cards like Mina or maybe even more draw support, because the deck's all about getting going. I haven't had any issues so far with this deck as far as like getting the setup going, because I just literally have not had any issues yet. So Salazzle here, gonna use the ability to draw 3. Very strong, very strong. I'm actually really excited about testing this in Blacephalon GX as well. I really want to know if Blacephalon GX can hang, you know what I mean? Because between having Salazzle down and overall just consistency buffs in the deck, I'm hoping that the deck can still like activate a bunch of B-strings at the right turns to win the game. We'll have to see though. Retreating here into the other Blacef. Okay, yeah, the other Blacef, the one that actually has energies. All right, cool. And then he can use Welder, but he's probably just going to attack. Do 10 damage, once again, puts me in range of that 2500. My opponent, though, this is the problem I'm having with Blacephalon right now, though, is the fact that the setup is actually kind of slow sometimes. If you don't find those Welders like as early as turn 1, you're in this really awkward position a lot of the time. So because my opponent is having like a little bit of difficulty setting up, it gives me free reign to continuously set up a Gardevoir, which is really strong for me. We got a Ribombee, which is perfect. Amina makes turn 2 really good. We don't really need that stadium, so we're just having it down for the sake of having it down. And I think, yeah, we just attach them there. And now we have 6 energies, which means the game plan now is to Guzma up that Salazzle, take a GX knockout, and then attack every turn until we win the game. That's the game plan. It's really simple, really easy. It's incredibly difficult for my opponent to get off any play with this deck after they've been GX to 0 hand, because you need multiple cards in your hand to combo properly. So let's see what my opponent can do here. Kind of their discard pile, see if they can actually take any knockouts or get anything close. So get 2 energies into his hand. Anything else he can do? Energy retrieval as well as Fiery Flint means you're constantly getting energies into your hand. So I feel like this card is pretty good. And there, 60 damage this time, I believe. Yep. But does that mean much? I'm not too sure, because we're going to Guzma this thing and we're just going to take a GX knockout here. shuffling my opponent's hand right back into their deck while taking a prize. And now, I don't know why he's so confused. He thought I grabbed the other Blacephalon for some reason. All right, no. He's shuffling his hand back into his deck. Okay, I see what's happening. He thought I was grabbing something else, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, I forgot. I was checking Vileplume, wasn't I? Vileplume has 140 HP, but it doesn't matter because Vileplume's usually not attacking you. You'll be fine. You have enough energy acceleration to just eventually OHKO the Vileplume. So you don't need to OHKO it as long as you can just take a knockout on it at some point. Something to keep in mind. Choice Helmet, just overall, this deck's all about, like, I wish I was playing this deck versus a tag team deck, or not tag team, just any GX deck in general, because the Fairy Charms only work on GX Pokemon. The Choice Helmet only works on GX Pokemon, and now we can use Kaleidostorm and take another knockout while moving 3 energies back to the bench. So, incredibly powerful. At this point, we're just attacking, and eventually winning, while my opponent's trying to draw out of this situation. Opponent just now gets draw 3, which is pretty good. But there's not too much else they can really do here. I see they have a Fiery Flint, but like they're not going to be able to take a knockout. Another Fire Energy they found, so that's another 60 damage, which is good because now they only need 4 energies to take a knockout. But I'm about to take my 3rd prize here. Sure, their Beast Ring is live, but can they do much? That's the question, you know what I mean? And we have a whole extra Pokemon here, you know what I mean? We're just going to switch just for the sake of burning cards. Actually, no, this means that it's a little bit harder for my opponent to take a knockout on me because now they need to find, once again, 6 energy cards. Next ball here, try to get me a Xerneas Prism on the board so I can eventually set that up to take a knockout so it skews the prize trade some more. Xerneas Prism, incredibly powerful in this deck. Just an overall good Prism Star card for fairy decks, just super strong. And then just take another knockout. Now, sure, he does have the cards he needs to start attacking me, but can he get 6 energies? Because that's the big deal, right? He needs to find 6 energies in his deck, in his hand. He has to have 6 energies in his hand to take an OHKO now. Beast Energy means he only needs to find 5, but that's like a whole card in his hand, right? So it's almost the same thing. Rescue Stretcher gets another Blacephalon down. Let's see what he can do. He has Fiery Flint in hand, so I guess he's just gonna Fiery Flint and do 200 damage to me because there's not much else he can do here. He doesn't have any, like, he doesn't have Salazzle, he doesn't have a Draw Sporter in hand. He's still like trying to top deck it. This does technically thin his deck by 4 though, so it gives him 4 higher odds of top decking. And he knows what 3 cards he's going to take, and they're not going to be the 3 that's flipped over if he does take prizes. But he's not taking any prizes here. He can only attack me for so much, you know what I mean? He has to attach too, so he's going to hit me for 150. And I'm just going to switch and not let him take an OHKO on me. And as long as Rimbombi's down, he can't even chase me down. So let's see what we got here. And if I can attack him with the Xerneas Prism, that's even better, which we will be able to because we have a physical switch in hand. We can use Mina here to attach an energy somewhere, I guess. There we go. So now we have all 3 Gardevoir Sylveon set up on the board, and one of them are going to have all their energies moved into a Xerneas, right? All the energies are moved, and we can max potion that thing if we have a max potion in hand, although it's not super necessary. Here he can take a knockout, but then we just take another knockout, and we pretty much win the game because he needs to find one more bench Pokemon if he's going to do anything. So Fire Crystal means he does do nothing at all, and I just win. So I mean, I just win because I just attack. I can't attack with this thing, but I can switch. You know what I mean? We're checking to see if Beast Energy works, and it doesn't look like it does. But yeah, I just max potion, which is cool. Acerola, just showing off the healing in this deck. I don't have to do any of this. I'm just showing off the fact that like we have access to these abilities, and Gardevoir Sylveon just dominating that game. Having that little bit of time to set up energies is always nice. Of course, you're not going to have time in every matchup, but when you have access to cards like Mina that can accelerate an extra energy, as well as the effect that not every deck is going to be OHKOing you turn 1, and once that first OHKO is done, like once your opponent knocks out one Gardevoir Sylveon, you can just deny them from knocking out another one for the rest of the game. As long as they don't have OHKO potential, you can just win the game off of that alone. You know, because you have Acerolas, you have Xerneas Prism that can move energies for your Acerolas, you have max potions, you have Rimbombi protecting your bench. I don't. It's so hard for me. It's just difficult because I have to continuously stress over and over again how good Rimbombi is, but it's just so strong in these decks, man. You lose, and games are won by Guzma, but if you can cut that out completely, you can win crazy games. So we're going to go ahead and go into the final game here. 2 Gardevoir Sylveons down means a really good turn 1 for me. My opponent does have Blacephalon down, so they do have a great lead. They only play 2 Salazzle in this deck. So 2 Salandit, 2 Salazzle, that's it. And then 4 Blacephalon. So my opponent did get a lead every game, turn 1, I believe, which is pretty good. That doesn't happen very often. Now, we are playing Ultra Ball because we have Salazzle. There's not many other ball searches that could just help you besides Tire Ball, and then Tire Ball's a flip, and that's always sad. So Ultra Ball's fine because we have lots of ways to get Fire Energies back into our hand anyways. We're not too worried about it. That's just it, turn 1. So we can get down this thing right away to prevent an attack, so we can stall for a little bit longer. One card we can play in this deck is Diantha, in case we want to get the Stadium, but the Stadium doesn't really help us attack. It just stops our opponent from attacking, you know what I mean? We got a turn 1 Lily, which is great. If we can get an attack off, just throwing this tool down because we don't really care about the tools in this deck. But there's a lot of good tools. I believe there's an electric one, there's an Ultra Beast one, a brand new ability one, which is kind of crazy. Preventing Pokemon with abilities from attacking you is incredibly strong. Oh yeah, here's where I'm switching out the Rimbombis because I forgot to mention it last time. Or switching out the thingy, the baby Rimbombi, Cutiefly. That's the one. But yeah, we're just going to attack here, accelerate energies onto our bench, and just try once again to pull off the knockout Salazzle play with GX attack. Fairly simple, very straightforward, but if my opponent gets a crazy turn 1, like they had last game, we could be manhandled here. I mean, it's turn 2 technically, but still, it's pretty scary. They have to get 6 energies. They have a Fiery Flint, Beast Energy. They have 2 Fire Flints, actually. No, they have Welder, which is great. Fire Crystal gets energies into their hand, but right now I think it's Fiery Flint into... oh yeah, so he needs to use a Fire Crystal to use Welder so he can actually find cards to discard, which is not great, but he can still manually attach for sure. So he's not like in a weird position yet. He can use Salazzle as well if he wants to, because he has Ultra Ball in hand. Let's see. How's he going to do this? He has a lot of discarding cards in his hand, but he doesn't really know which order to do them in. And it's kind of complicated. I would have to take a better look at his hand to know. Looks like he has a Fire Energy and a Rescue Stretcher. I guess still cards that he can easily discard. To try to grab 4 energies, so it gives him a bunch of extra cards he can discard. Now the question is, if he gets Salazzle, can he find something like a Fire Crystal to really solidify his turn 1 knockout here? Because he needs to manually attach 1, discard 2. That would be 3 energies in the discard pile, I believe, which means Fire Crystal can bring those back. He would have at least 4 energies into his hand. I don't know if he has anything else, but if he finds another Fiery Flint, he could technically discard 2 energies to put 4 more into his hand. So there's a Salazzle I was talking about. He also has to discard 1 to draw 3 extra cards. So it's so cool to have a deck where like you have such a like Fire Energies are just an expendable resource, you know what I mean? It's super cool. I love this deck so much. I think it's dope. I don't think I would personally play it because I feel like it loses to some stuff. Like it loses to other GX, to other non-GX decks, which is the biggest issue. There goes the Stadium, meaning he can't attack this turn. Once again, I always forget to mention the fact that the Stadium here. This actually helps him a lot because now he only needs to get rid of 5 energies, but he's gonna hit me for the 130, I believe, with the Beast. So that's still a 2 KO, which is still scary. But we're going to Guzma, knock out the Salazzle. Not with a GX attack, unfortunately, but still being able to take a knockout is pretty good. We can slowly set up this thing to take a big Oko. Of course, we can't do it this turn or next turn, actually, because we can only attach at max 2 energies per turn using the... Excuse me, I thought I heard some noise. Might be my brother coming home. Using the... what's it called? Mina. Using Mina as our supporter for turn. Ooh, I hope I don't have to like yell at anyone. Hope nobody's coming in the house because that'd be kind of awkward. But anyways, yeah, using Mina, we can attach 2 extra energies per turn. Did my opponent just Guzma? Oh yeah, somebody is home. But it's not a big deal. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I can't really pause the recording either. Are you ready, guys? Alright guys, sorry, my brother did come home like I thought. Anyways, I don't know what I missed, but I don't think it was terribly important. We do get to take a knockout here. And he's taking 3 prizes, but like I said earlier, the rest of this game, we're just going to make him not take any prizes. If I take a knockout here, he needs a bunch to take an actual knockout in return. Once again, manual attachment, welder for 2, as well as 6 energies into his hand since he lost his beast energy. So I don't think he can do it. So we're pretty good here. And next turn we can GX my opponent as well. He's on Ultra Space first. And then he's going to use Pokegear. I think that's what he was doing. So I think his play, honestly, is probably set up the benched one if he can. If he uses a welder this turn, he probably has to set up his bench dude. But then again, like if he wants to do big damage this turn, he probably might have to actually set up the active. If he's planning on attacking this turn at all, you know what I mean? So it's really risky because you're going. This might be like an all-in play because he knows. I don't know if he knows, but he should know that the potential of a GX attack is definitely coming. Is definitely coming. So yeah, there's Rescue Stretcher, or not Rescue Stretcher, Energy Retrieval, getting him at least 2 energies into his hand. Getting him 2 energies in hand. Then he can welder immediately to draw 3 more cards. And then he has to find like a manual attachment as well as 2 fire crystals, some fiery flints. He has lots of ways to get a bunch of energies into his hand. So it's a definite possibility, but it still requires quite a bit. So it's not like the most possible thing in the world, you know what I mean? There's Heat Factory, meaning he can draw some more. That's pretty good as well. He has B-String as well. He can use B-String, which I'm surprised he's not using that right now. He has access to it. I only have... Yeah, he should use B-String first. But then again, I guess he wants to draw the energies. Never mind, actually. He does want to draw the energies, so he doesn't want to use B-String first. But he has no other way to draw, as you can see, as I can tell, because he already uses Heat Factory. So now he's just using B-String to accelerate energies. Double checking his deck. Yeah, he's gonna attach to the bench. So this is good because now if I GX him, he still has potential to continue to attack, and if he like top deck something, you know what I mean. So now you can top deck energy retrievals or fire crystals and stuff to take a knockout if he whiffs a knockout here. Excuse me, guys. Well, there we go. 3 energies. Is that enough? Does he have another one in hand? I don't think he does. He also has to manually attach. So right now, like I said, it's very unlikely for him to get as much as he needed. It's only hitting me for 100 here. This gives me the opportunity to GX, which is great. So he can't. So the chance that he can't. There's no top deck that he can get off of a GX attack that would mean he takes a knockout next turn because he has to hit at least 160. So what would have to happen, right, is Fire Crystal, manual attachment, and then he would have to discard. So Fire Crystal, manual attachment, right? Because he has to get 4 energies into his hand since he doesn't play choice bands or anything like that. This deck doesn't need choice bands, so that's why you're not playing choice bands. But he would need 4 energies into his hand, so he would have to have Fire Crystal to get him 3 into his hand, manual attachment giving him 2 into his hand, Heat Factory drawing exactly a way to get 3 more energies, but he can't Guzma, as he just noticed. So he's just using the Guzma. I just attack for game because he had no way to get another Blacephalon down, and I just benched him out, and it's just that simple. Gardevoir Sylveon is incredibly disruptive, incredibly powerful in the if you can set up your board really well. Mina's very, very good in this deck because sometimes all you need is that 1 extra attachment per turn. Overall, very, very, very good deck, and both of these decks are extremely good. We just have the advantage of being able to not use Guzma, and this deck is a combo based deck, so you usually need multiple cards in your hand to pull it off. Unfortunately, like the perfect turn for that last turn for Gardevoir Sylveon to GX would have been if we also bumped the stadium, but we weren't able to bump the stadium. But yeah, very cool deck. I really like it a lot. It feels like it's one of those decks that should be like that. People are just like, oh, this is so bad. It's so bad for the game being able to be putting your hand down to 0. But in reality is that it's not as bad. It's just very deck based, you know what I mean? Like there's gonna be, it takes a lot more than just like, oh, it takes a little bit more than just like, oh, my opponent's gonna always get it every game. You know what I mean? We need a few turns to set up as a Gardevoir Sylveon player. You need a few turns to set up, and then you need to be able to GX the right card. You know, you can't just GX in front of you and be all like, well, now we definitely got our opponent. And then you also have to play very what's the word? Conservatively, conserving the cards that can help you get out of the situation, while also playing out your deck of cards that are not useful. Just like playing a little bit more turbo than you used to. It's really cool because it means that you have to play in a more like the game has a little bit more skill now, because you have to be able to skillfully get yourself out of these awkward situations. Well, but that's gonna be it, guys. Leave a comment down below about all the things you thought about in this video. I'm recording this way ahead because I have that surgery coming soon. So hopefully you guys like the video. Don't forget to drop a like because it supports the channel so much, so greatly. You guys don't even understand. Subscribe, share all that good jazz, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a deck profile of both these decks. Well, I guess deck profile Blacephalon tomorrow and then Gardevoir the day after. Peace.